So we've been talking a lot about police brutality. And I'm like, they're trained poorly. They're always trained to escalate instead of de-escalating. I'm here, by the way, with three comedians, Hank Thompson, hey. Robert Yasamura,
hey.
and Ron Placone.
Hello.
So Ron Placone's a redheaded Italian guy.
Yeah, how about that?
Look
Someone's
out.
got to be.
Northern
There's
Italian?
a few of us.
So how much training do police get, Robert? That's the question.
I think they are getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 months.
It takes
United
more
States?
training time to become a barber than a cop.
Oh!
It's according to That's according to CNN.
Oh,
It's
wait.
a story by Holly Yan over at
How
CNN.
long does it take to become a barber?
So let's go.
And by the way, if a barber's shooting at my head, I want him to have that training.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, North Carolina, you need 620 hours of training to be a police officer. You need 1,500 to become a barber. So more than double the training to become a barber than it does. And you wonder why they keep shooting unarmed black guys left and right.
So that's roughly 12 weeks.
And then their training is to shoot them. It's not to de-escalate. So they have short training, and the training is bad training.
Yeah.
Oh, it also explains why black guys get such cool haircuts.
In North Carolina, it takes 1,528 hours to become a licensed barber. The state's minimum police training requirement is 620 hours.
Well, to be fair, we're talking about North Carolina where barbers are still expected to do a certain level of surgery.
Yeah. Yes.
They still do leeches.
Yeah.
Do you know how the barbers got the red?
The red pole, isn't it because of bleeding?
From the Civil War, that guy would come and bleed.
Yeah.
On the things. That's what. Anyway, let's keep going. It's not just North Carolina, too, by the way. In California, New Mexico, and New York, you can get a badge hundreds of hours sooner than you can use a pair of barber shears. Like, for instance, let's go to Massachusetts. It takes at least 900 hours to become an officer in Massachusetts. Become a refrigeration technician, 1,000 hours. Takes more training to fix my fridge. Nope, nobody has.
I got to be. I've dealt with refrigeration technicians in Massachusetts, and I got to tell you, they're no better than the cops. They're really not very nice.
They don't
guys.
care if you eat.
Yeah. But a lot of that has to do with it has to do with the unions and what the unions have control over licensing, and so what they do is they say, well, it's the way it used to be with like apprenticeships and things. Like they would just put control measures in to keep their market from being flooded by journeymen, and police officers aren't like that. They have a union, but they have no incentive to keep the numbers of police officers down. So they're like, yeah, just bring them in, whatever. You know.
Right, but let's just keep this in mind. It takes more training time to become a barber than it takes to teach a cop not to be racist.
I know. I'm not saying it's right.
The training is also rigorous, right? They have the tasering women tests, the escalating violence evaluations,
Sure.
the midterm macings,
Sure.
And the planting of evidence finals. And if you pass, they give you a gun.
Oh, it's great.
Isn't that nice?
And barbers have to protect and sweep.
To protect and sweep.
That's
Very
right.
nice.
This is the problem is that, like I was saying, a lot of the licensed journeymen that we're talking about, the reason why their training is so extensive is because of guilds and unions. It falls upon the municipalities and the state governments to determine these training levels, and they're falling down. So in this instance, the unions are doing a better job of regulating their own industries than your government is at regulating people who carry firearms around your house.
Michigan, police officers, a little bit less than 600 hours to be a cop. To become an electrician in Michigan, 4,000.
Electrical sign specialist.
Well, to be fair, Detroit's there.
4,000 hours. How about Louisiana? Louisiana, 360 hours.
I would not have guessed it was even that much.
To become, me neither.
I would have assumed just as long as your cousin Carl can get you the job.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah, I'd imagine like during Mardi Gras, they're just like, you look nice. Here's a badge.
Yeah.
Like they just.
Are you not drunk? I had a few.
You're in.
It's fine.
Louisiana has the lowest minimum training requirements because they know the witness will eventually vomit and pass out. Look at that. 500 hours to become a manicurist in Louisiana. Less hours to become a cop. And you wonder why this is happening? And by the way, that training, all wrong. They're training them to escalate.
Whereas they're teaching the manicurists how to de-escalate almost any situation.
Any situation. A hangnail, you got a low. Here is, how about California? California, 664 hours to be a cop, 1,600 hours to be a cosmetologist. So if you want to be a licensed cosmetologist, you're going to need around 1,600 hours.
It's not quite triple.
How about Florida? In Florida, 770 hours to become a cop, 1,760 hours to become an interior designer.
To be fair, Florida might be the one place where the cops are probably better off no training. Because from what I can tell of Florida cops, the training they get is all bad.
Those who complete a 5-year interior design program still need to get 1,700 hours of experience before they can get a license. So you got to go through a 5-year training program to be an interior designer, and then you need 1,700 hours of experience before they'll give you a license.
To be fair, though, if those interior designers didn't get those hours, they would be just ruining black people's homes.
It says here, those who complete a 2-year interior design program in Florida need 7,000 hours of work experience. Isn't that something?
So
Cops, you barely need to even go to a tree. You need to get fitted for your suit, and then they measure your hand for your gun, and then you're done. Go ahead.
like, I think part of this, kind of piggybacking on what Robert said about the unions, is the cost of failing for an electrician or an interior designer. They're impacting business for everybody.
Right.
So they need to maintain a high standard in order, because there's money on the table. The cost of a cop making a mistake. Now, look, it's death, or it's wrongly imprisoning somebody, or and sometimes cops do a lot of good things too. They don't make a lot of news stories when they help somebody.
Right.
So, but to me, I'm seeing the breakdown of the social contract. We have a culture that's been trained that the government is the problem. We don't believe that the government can be a positive influence in people's lives, and that's on purpose, so that they wouldn't have to spend money on services to people, and therefore they can justify cutting taxes. It all sources back to Reagan economics, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I think we all agree that what we need to do in America is put the service back in protect and serve. Right?
Yeah.
We need to put the serve back in there. So when the cop shows up, he doesn't have a gun and a billy club on his hip. He shows up, well, I'm going to try to help you. You have a problem? I know how to help. I'm more of a community helper. And if you need a gun in this situation, I know the guy to call to get the gun. But most of the cops show up unarmed.
By the way, it used to be that, first of all, cops didn't carry guns for a long time. When they were finally given guns, they didn't like it. They were not happy about it.
Really?
Most municipal police officers, when they were first told, like, you can carry guns, they were like, I don't want to carry...
No
that
kidding.
That would create a much worse situation.
Well, it
and
has.
The reason why they carried billy clubs, it wasn't so much to, like, do violence. It was more so that they could hit the pavement to call for other cops.
Really?
That's why they were called Tommy knockers. It was like, tack, tack, tack,
They were
tack,
called
tack,
Tommy
tack.
knockers? Mm-hmm. This is a lot of information coming from our Japanese man on the panel.
I've studied your ways. They fascinate me.
He has studied. So again, I don't have time to fact check this in real time, so we'll have to take Robert's word for it.
I don't know about the Tommy knockers thing, but I do know that they would rattle on the.
Now he's backpacking.
They would rattle.
backtracking.
They would rattle on the pavement, and it was a way to call people instead of using a whistle. It was a way of calling another cop from like over a block.
Okay, they should still be trained more, and their training is
and trained differently. I mean, like,
And
you look
trained
at
differently.
other places in Germany, you know what they do? They actually use the old concentration camps, because it is a lot of space, but they train police at the old concentration camps and to teach them the lesson that when power becomes corrupted, this is what can happen. I heard they don't do that anymore. To teach them that lesson now, they just show them American news. But they used to.
Yeah.
They used to use that space.
So, Denmark, 3 years to train a cop.
3 years to train a cop in Denmark.
Here averages 9 months less.
Here
probably.
it averages around 5 minutes.
Well, it's about 12 weeks or something like that. It's less than a semester in college, really.
Yes. Okay, so I think we're getting closer to the problem, the training.